Hello everyone. So welcome back. So today we are going to start our new chapter, chapter number 5, that is force and laws of motion. Force and laws of motion. Okay. So which topic comes under the force and laws of motion? In this chapter we will study about the inertia, second one force, Newton's laws of motion, Newton's laws of motion. Fourth one, free body diagram. Fifth one, friction. And in the last, we will study circular motion. Basically, this circular motion is combined in friction. Friction and circular motion both are combined. Okay, but according to the new syllabus, these three topics have been excluded: inertia, force, and Newton's laws of motion. In this Newton's laws of motion, momentum is also there and impulse is also there. Impulse and momentum. Okay, so all these topics we have to exclude. We don't need. There is no need to study all these three topics. By the way, these three topics are. We have basic idea of these topics in since we have studied them in ninth class also. Okay, we know about inertia, what is force, and from which law and the force. We know about the force. It is the Newton's first law that clearly tells that if we need to change the position of the object, whether it is in rest or motion, then we need to put some external effort. That external effort is force, है ना? So the first law gives us the qualitative measure of the force. Similarly, the second law gives us the measurement of the force. Means quantitatively. Quantitatively means how much amount of force is needed to give a change, to produce a change in the body. Okay. So and what does Newton's third law says? It says the every action has a equal and opposite reaction. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Suppose that an object, let us say this is our book. Okay, this is book and this is table. Now the book has some mass and it is lying on the table, surface of the table, है ना? That means its total weight, its weight will be acting downwards, that is mg. Mass is the m is the mass of the book and g is the gravitational acceleration. So if we multiply mass and the gravitational acceleration, it will be weight of the book. So it says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. That means if the book is exerting a weight is also a force. Weight is also a type of force, isn't it? That's why we measure weight in newtons. We are not talking about mass, we are talking about the weight. So weight is also a type of force. And if the book is exerting a force that is equals to its weight, that means the surface of the table should also exert an opposite reaction force that will be equal to the weight of the book. So if we say that R is the reaction force that is generated by the table, then we can say that R is equals to mg. R is equals to mg, isn't it? So this is our this is the action reaction force. We will study all these things in free body diagram. All these things we are going to study in the free body diagram. This is FBD. It is in short we call it FBD, free body diagram. What is a free body diagram? Free body diagram means if suppose that there are number of forces that are acting on a body. Okay, suppose that let us say uh, okay, now let me clear it. Okay, now suppose this is a surface of the table and an object is lying here. Now one person is pushing, one handle is here and another handle is here. So one person is pulling this, whatever this object is, it is pulling towards him, and another person, what is doing, he is also pulling it towards him. Now he is saying that suppose that here the force is F1 and here the force is F2. Now we have to calculate the net effect on the body. Now in this case, what will we do? We have to create the free body diagram, and on by this free body diagram we can solve, we can create the equations and then solve the equations, and we will get the final result. So what is free body diagram? It says that suppose that we consider the block or the object as a point, because all these forces, we have to consider all the forces are acting on at a point. So suppose that if these forces are acting at a point, then in this case F2 force is acting to the right side, F1 force is acting to the left side. Now the weight of the force, weight of the object, that is W, weight of the object, that is W, it is acting vertically downward direction. And this was table, I already told you that this is table. So if an object is placed on a table, that means there must be a reaction force, and this reaction force must be equal to the weight of the object. So this is basically a free body diagram of the given question, given problem. Now what will we say? We will say that the reaction is equals to the weight, and they are exactly equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So they will cancel out each other, they will cancel out the effect of each other. But F1 and F2, we are not saying that F1 F2 are equal, so there must be a resultant force, there must be a resultant force, and there must be a particular direction in which the object can be drawn. Okay, so all these things we are going to study in the free body diagrams, how to solve these type of problems, and then we will move to friction and circular motion. Okay, so let's start with the free body diagram. Okay, free body diagram, in short we call it as FBD. Now suppose that an object is there on which three forces are acting. Suppose that this one is force F1, and another force is acting in this direction, that is F2, and another force is F3. Now three forces are acting on an object. Okay, all these forces are what we say it, all these are concurrent. Now if we say that the forces are concurrent, that means all the line of action of all these three forces will coincide at a point, or we will say that intersect at a point. So this is the intersection point. If we say these are the line of actions, line of actions are, what is a line of action? Line of action is the direction actually which tells us that this force is going in which direction. Okay, so we are saying that all the forces of line of actions of all these forces are intersecting at a particular point. Now if we say that the object is in equilibrium, what we say, object is in equilibrium, equilibrium, we are saying that object is in equilibrium. That means the net effect of these force F1 F2 and F3 is what, is 0. If we are saying that the object is in equilibrium, if an object is in equilibrium, that means there is no net acting force, there is no net acting force, so there must not be any acceleration, and the resultant must be 0. So we will say the summation sigma f1 plus f2 and plus f3 is equals to 0. We will use the sign vector because these their vector sum must be 0. Their magnitude can may not be 0. It cannot be 0, but their vector sum, because in vectors we are calculating the directions also na. So the net effect, we are saying that net effect is 0. Okay. Let's move to the next point. Okay, if how to solve this type of problem? How can we solve this type of problem? In earlier classes, we have read about the Lami's theorem. Lami's theorem. In previous lecture videos, when we were talking about vectors and calculus, at that time I have taught you all about Lami's theorem. What was the Lami's theorem? It Lami's theorem said that it states that if an object is in equilibrium and there are acting three forces, and suppose there are acting three forces, this is force F1, this is force F2, and this is force F3, and the angle in front of the angle in front of the force F1 is in opposite to the force F1 is alpha, the angle in opposite to the force F2 is beta, and similarly this angle is gamma. Then in this case the ratio of F1 upon sin alpha will be equals to the ratio of F2 upon sin beta, and this will be equals to F3 upon sin gamma. Okay, so this is our Lami's theorem, and by applying this Lami's theorem we can solve this equation also. So first point is clear that if three concurrent forces are acting at a body which is in equilibrium, then the net effect of the force will be 0, and F1 upon sin alpha equals to F2 upon sin beta equals to F3 upon sin gamma. Okay, let's move to next point. Now suppose that an object is lying at a surface, then what will happen? Its total weight is acting, or its total weight is distributed over the surface, है ना? But when we will draw the free body diagram, in this case we will consider the object as a point object. Okay, and we will consider the whole mass, whole weight is acting at a particular point. So its total mass, let us say its total mass is concentrated on this point. So this point means the weight of the object will be acted towards downwards and in the direction of the point, means the weight will be passing through this point in the downward direction. Now what is the weight? Weight is W equals to mg. Now in we have said by the Newton's third law of motion, we know that by the Newton's third law of motion we know that every action has equal and opposite reaction. Now if we are saying that this surface is providing a reaction, as we have a action force that is equals to weight, so there must be an opposite reaction force. So this reaction force will be generated by the table or this surface and will be opposite to the direction of weight. It will be opposite to the direction of weight. Okay, so R will be equals to, in magnitude, R will be equals to the mg, but its direction will be exactly opposite. This is our first case, when the object is lying at a horizontal surface. So its free body diagram is like this. Now suppose that the object is lying at an inclined plane. Let us say this is the inclined plane and this is horizontal. Okay, now we are saying that an object is kept here. So what type of forces will be acting here, and how we will draw the free body diagram? Let us see. In this case, its weight, let us say that the whole weight is concentrated at this point. Now weight will be acting vertically downwards. Remember that all the weights, it acts towards the center of the earth, and if we are considering this surface as horizontal, then all the weights will be acting perpendicular, in the direction of the perpendicular to the horizontal. Okay, so if we are going to draw the direction of weight, then we have to put it as perpendicularly downwards. So W will be equals to mg. Now what? Now the surface is inclined, है ना? This surface is inclined, and the inclined surface is providing a reaction force. And inclined surface is providing a reaction force. In this case, the reaction will be like this. It will not be just opposite in this direction. It will not be just opposite to the weight, but it will be perpendicular to the surface. Now let us say that the surface was inclined at an angle of theta from the horizontal. Then what will happen? Then if this angle is theta, then this angle also be theta, isn't it? It is z angle, na? If this angle is theta, then this angle will also be theta, and this angle is theta, that means this is also theta. Okay, now let us sorry, if we are considering this as theta, so this will not be theta. Here this angle will be theta. Okay, now if that angle is theta, in this case, how will we draw the draw the free body diagram? This is our free body diagram. Now how we will calculate the equations? So we will say, now first of all, uh, we have to divide where is the duckon? Okay, now first of all we have to divide the रिएक्शन फोर्स आर इंटू इट्स कॉम्पोनेंट्स. सबसे पहले हम इसको कॉम्पोनेंट्स में डिवाइड करेंगे. सो व्हाट आर द कॉम्पोनेंट्स? इफ दिस एंगल इज थीटा, देन इन दिस केस दिस डायरेक्शन विल बी आर कॉस थीटा and this will be r sin theta. This will be r sin theta and it will be r cos theta. Now we can see that r cos theta is equals to mg. That means the vertical component of the reaction force, it is balancing the weight. Now it is balancing the weight. Okay, so like this we have to calculate. r cos theta equals to mg. So these are simple points that we can calculate all these things like this. Okay. Okay, let's stop it here. Now in next lecture we will solve some problems based on the free body diagram, and we'll move to the pulley mass system and the complex situations. Okay, thank you.